the reason why I actually left Australia was twofold. Number one was my request to be Nicole Kidman's stunt double was rejected. And the second was I found out it is illegal to have a live-in relationship with a koala. Now, the actual reason behind why I left Australia was a little more serious. I realized Australia is essentially the poor man's America. And at that point in time, I decided that since America is the kind of country where the people consider the moon landing to be fake and wrestling to be real, Australia is a similar kind of country where people don't know the moon landing even occurred. In fact, a survey recently put people projecting it as a giant bottle cap. So, while I have these complex cultural roots and while I do despise America in certain ways, I do watch American shows and I'm a hypocrite that way. And one of the shows I watch is this show called Special Victims Unit. And it's a very intense show and it's about sexual abuse and rape, etc., etc. But the characters are really good. So the previous evening I was watching this show and I realized that it's getting really heated, and just in the moment of complete intensity, I realized the sex abuse victim was Mike Tyson. The same Mike Tyson who was a boxer who bit off somebody's ear. Now, all I could think through the 40 minutes of the show was, when the hell did Mike Tyson move to Noida? So, as I evolved and as coming back to the point that I am a Parsi by nature, but one thing I read that really startled me recently was, and I kid you not, this is a fact, there are more eunuchs in India than there are Parsis in the world. There are 3 times more eunuchs in India than there are Parsis in the world. Look, I know we fucked up with John Abraham's acting skills, but this is taking it way too far. As John would say, dark spots, no way. So, because I come from a very outside background, as a lot of people prefer, I tend to observe a lot of things. And one thing I observed is that casually a lot of Indians are very racist. So I had this incident at Andheri station the other day. I was standing in a line of 50 people, waiting for an auto, and there are 49 of us, and there was a Nigerian guy in the front. So this poor beggar lady started from the back, and she started begging for alms from everybody. And she went past me, and she went to the Nigerian guy. As soon as she walked past him, she just gave him one glance, raised her eyebrows, and continued to walk on. And it just struck me that no matter how poor, no matter how destitute an Indian is, they're never going to beg from a black guy. And while I was intellectualizing about this entire thing, I look back and I see this old lady asking the guy, "Itna lamba hai kya?" That's when you know you have a society problem. Now, Mumbai, the reason why I actually moved to Mumbai is the beauty in polarization. You have a poor beggar lady here, and then you have the insane wealth of the Ambani family. So, I'm sure most of you guys know they have the most expensive home in the world, right? $1 billion. I don't consider it a home, I consider it more of a transformer. In fact, a friend of mine called it Jenga on steroids. Now, the grapevine basically has it that they're actually planning to change the name of the entire structure to Obesitron, keeping in mind with the Ambani family motto of one step ahead of diabetes. Now, a lot of people, whenever I do my sets, they tend to ask me one question: "Hey, do you really hate Ambani, na?" The truth is, I don't hate him. I just wish the whole family was fingered by Wolverine. Now, coming from a very, as I said, coming from a very diverse background, and I work for a company which deals with a very controversial crop. Now, the crop is called hemp, but it's very closely related to cannabis. Now, a lot of you guys probably know what cannabis is. It's called what we call marijuana nowadays. And on a close point related to that, I noticed there's something really unique between Western countries and India. That the concept of the number 420 means entirely different opposites. Say in the USA or Canada, Australia, 420 is a day on the 20th of April where everyone just sits in a park and gets high. That's the basic point of the day. But in India, 420, from what I know, it refers to a cheater or a fraud. And the first time I encountered this number in India was with that movie Chachi Chasobis, where Kamal Hassan basically dressed up as an old lady. It got me thinking, what if I got my Chachi stoned? That would be the most awesome situation ever, where she's sitting on the couch, she's saying, "Beta, chakli lao. Beta, thoda rajma khao na, mere liye bhi lao." And finally, just when it can't get enough, she says, "Beta, ye FIFA kaise chalu karte ho?" So, the beauty of Indian culture is not just references like these, it's the languages that exist in a country like India. And the beauty is that even though there are so many languages, I can't get them. So there was an occasion a couple of days ago. I was in Bandra. I was walking downtown and I saw this huge commotion outside a pub. So I stopped and asked this guy, I was like, myself, andar kaun hai? Now before I go any further, it's important to remember that there is a Marathi word called fucked. Now the word fucked means only. So this guy looks at me as soon as I said, myself, andar kaun hai? And he says, fuck the police. So I look at him once and I look at him twice and I'm like, hells yeah, fuck the police. The next thing I know, I'm sharing a jail cell with two Aam Aadmi Party members. Now, beyond the actual convention of language in India, it's important to realize that the art of seduction through words is a very pivotal part of any language. Take French, for example. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? It sounds romantic, it sounds sexy. English, Latin, Sanskrit. But can you imagine the more recent languages coming into play? Take, for example, again, Marathi. Can you imagine a guy and a girl on a bed, busy going at it, being intimate? The girl is going, "Hey girl, and the guy is holding her going, maze aur tuza vadil kaun hai? Tuza vadil kaun hai?" Don't clap halfway through the entire. Once they're going at it, and of course, I lost my momentum now. I have to start from scratch. Tuza vadil kaun? The girl is going, just at the climax, shit gets really weird when the guy goes, Ami alone!